Hey, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Queen's Vantage podcast. Today, we are not just getting to the music, we are uncovering the meaning behind it. Today, I have a real treat for y'all. We are sitting down with the incredible Demola the Violinist, an artist who turned what started as a childhood requirement into a divine calling. His sound bridges genres, cultures, generations, blending classical mastery with Afrobeats, pop, and soul. Demola, welcome to Queen's Vantage podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, we're super excited to have you here with us today. I'm a huge fan of yours, so this is an absolute pleasure for me to be able to sit down with you virtually and get to know the man behind the music.
I appreciate that. It means a lot.
From my research, it looks like your mother encouraged you to get into music. But today, your work clearly comes from intention. When did you shift from obligation to calling?
Um, so my mom would always play music. She loved music. She didn't know that I wanted to be an artist. Every time I told her I wanted to be an artist, African parents, they're like, yeah, you got to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, and all of that whole stuff. Um, for me, the whole shift, I don't really see it as a shift for me. I see it as something that I've always wanted to do. Violin was just that portal for me that exposed me to music holistically and bigger. And when it was time for me to say, okay, I'm going to go as an artist full time, I decided to start Demola the artist, Demola the Violinist, in 2015. So I've been doing 2016. So next year's gonna make it 10 years. However, before then, I've always been an artist, a violinist, a musician, playing for musicians, playing for artists, playing in jazz bands, and playing whatever. But the intention from onset was to be the artist that I am today and the artist that I'm gonna become in the future. And so I don't really see it as a paradigm shift or like, oh yeah, this is this moment where I'm making a move to shift from whatever to whatever. It's always been the intention and plan from day one.
Okay, so it sounds like music has always been a part of your purpose. What does purpose mean to you as an artist, and how has it evolved you as an individual over your journey?
The way I see purpose is like what you want to become, what you were born to do, what you were created to impact on the world. Because I believe everyone was born into this world to do something. I kind of think that I identified my, I won't say fully clear purpose when I was quite young, but I identified it before I even became a violinist. And then when I became a violinist, it became clearer and bigger. My purpose for me born into this world is like, hey, listen, I want to make music, touch people's lives, heal people's lives. But the bigger purpose is beyond music for me. It is, you know, creating an avenue where humanity can come together in one melting point, in peace and harmony, in helping people and doing all of that. And music is just one of those portals for me that takes me to that point. You know what I'm saying? So whatever I make from music, I have a foundation that helps people, that helps kids, that helps people, welfare and different part. That is part of the major purpose, but music is that vehicle, that takes me into that place to achieve the bigger purpose, if you know what I mean. So it's always been there for me.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, you write and read music, but your sound carries freedom that feels spiritual. What does the creative process look like for you when you're blending so many genres?
Okay, so the creative process for me changes depending on my mood, depending on condition where I am. what I'm thinking at that point in time, the energy I have at that point in time, and the energy I'm trying to give out. I'm going to explain. So if I'm working with a classical musician in this sense, and we have to write music, and we have to score stuff, and we have to create stuff, and I'm working with a jazz musician, the creative process is very much different. But one thing that is core is the fusion that makes me who I am. And the fusion, I do not know how to explain that because it kind of comes naturally. It's a proclivity for me. It's innate. It just happens. It just comes together for me. I cannot say, oh, well, I want to blend this and I want to blend this and I have to start thinking about it. It comes while I'm creating the music naturally. For example, if I'm going to create like one of the songs I created, which is for my last album, The Fearless, the Amapiano, I worked with producers from South Africa, and I never even thought of how I was going to create the song. They sent me the beat, I listened to it, I'll be like, okay, make adjustments here, I add a few things to the beat, and I recorded some of the songs in less than 30 minutes. We had a whole full track. And there are some songs on that same album where it took me, for example, Uvalo, which is one of my major songs, it took me close to 6, 7 months to just listen to the beat over and over and over and over again and not do anything. And then 8 months later, it just dawned on me that I think I have a melody for this. So, like I'm saying, creativity changes from person to person, time to time, how it flows, and all of that whole stuff. You know, it's not just one way. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a perfect segue into my next question. So, when you're composing or performing, what's happening internally? Is it visual, emotional, or instinctive?
Everything, everything. Sometimes it's tumultuous. Sometimes it's chaos. I feel inside of me. Sometimes I just feel like I want to burst. Sometimes I feel like I cannot sleep. Sometimes I feel like until that stuff comes out, which is most times how it happens. I have something in my head, I have something in my heart, and I feel like, yeah, I'm not gonna find the rest until this comes out. Sometimes that's how it works, and sometimes it just happens like I'm on a flight and some tunes come into my head, and I just pick up my laptop and I start writing the songs, I start making the beats, and it flows. But most times it is something that excites me on the inside and starts disturbing me, and it has to come out, else I'm not gonna find peace, like peace type stuff. So it just happens like that. So sometimes it's beautiful chaos, and that's how I create the beautiful music that you hear.
I think that's absolutely beautifully described.
Mhm.
How does your Nigerian roots shape your sound and your rhythm as an artist?
Black people, we got rhythm, we got sound, we got melody. So being Nigerian, I mean, coming from the motherland, Afrobeat, African sound is something that I grew up listening to. So rhythm, beat, like my first instrument that I played was playing drums, and it's not the drum set. I'm talking about the percussion, African percussions, the djembe, agbamole, the conga, the shekeres. So I'm very percussive with that. That alone gives me the drive and rhythm for making beats, for bouncing on different kind of beats and rhythm. And of course, colonial music, I call it colonial music, the Western music, it seeped into Africa after colonial reign and became something that's very strong. And of course, every music from different parts of Europe and America started coming in there. Jamaican music also came in, song music from the West Indies came in. And growing up in Nigeria and having parents who listen to everything, who are very traditional, who are very African, but at the same time very much open to Western music, created that environment for me to be able to hear everything as one music for me. And so fusing that with African sound that's just in it, that's just in me, growing up listening to drums, having people play drums every single time, playing the brass instrument around me and all of that whole stuff in my own language, it just naturally formed who I am, you know.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, when audiences are listening to your music and they're feeling your sound, what emotion or message do you hope transcends language and culture?
Um, when audiences are listening to my music around the world, the first thing I want them to,
Around the world,
the first,
what do you want them to
yeah,
feel?
freedom. I want them to feel love, and I want them to feel peace. I want my music to bring unity amongst people. I feel like everybody bleeds red. We are all the same people, different places, born in different. Maybe we don't choose where we're born. We don't choose where we want to go. We only can decide, like, what we become after when we're born. And my music is, I feel like I know I just feel, I say this every time, I want my music to be a staple, to be like food and water. Nobody hates water, nobody hates food. You have to eat to survive. And so I want my music to be essential towards unifying human beings around the world. So peace, love, hope, freedom. That's what I want people to feel when they listen to my music.
Well, we could certainly use more of that in the world
Mm-hmm.
today. You recently performed with George Benson, an icon
Mm-hmm.
defined as who defined a musical
Mm-hmm.
era. How did that experience influence your own direction as an artist?
So Josh Benson, the legend. I love him so much and I respect him so much. He's like a grandfather to me because my dad used to listen to George Benson. That's how I got to know about George Benson when I was growing up. So he was somebody that I never even thought I was gonna ever meet. So last year, was it last year? It was this year actually. It was this year I met him and I performed, opened up for him, and it was a great experience. And when I meet legends like that, I want to learn more about the story from them. Have a little chat with them. I want to watch them perform, and I want to see how they evoke what they evoke. It's not just about the skill; it's about the feeling. It's about the fact that he's 82, 83 years old and he still loves to perform. I want to be his age and older and still be healthy, playing on stage and performing. And so it's me learning from the masters. It's me not just listening to their works, but this time around just watching them do it without words, telepathically, just getting that whole and soaking them in. That's it for me. So that's what meeting him, just um, increased my drive and passion for longevity in the industry and to just be different and do music that people are gonna love. I saw the reaction on people's faces when he was performing his classics, and I hope one day I'm gonna have number one albums, number one songs, and that my music is gonna be evergreen for years. That's what my prayer is, and seeing him, just increase that drive for me, like I said, to create something that's gonna last forever.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Where do you see the current landscape of music heading? And what do you think your role is as we move forward and we think about music and where it's going?
Okay, so let me answer the second one first. My role is just to create music that young musicians, old musicians, and people across the world who are not just musicians, who are just music lovers, would cherish, would keep, would make reference to, you know. I know I'm doing something, I'm trailblazing a path that, has not really been applied by a lot of people and a lot of new stuff. And over the years, I'm thinking that more people are gonna want to apply that path. People are gonna want to see what I'm doing and follow, which a lot I've been doing right now already. I'm grateful for that. For people who are not music lovers, is to convert them to music lovers, like core music lovers, and have my music touch them and change them. And so that's my basic role. But where the landscape of music is going, I'm really scared because now we have AI music, which simply means that a lot of musicians are going to get out of job, which means that the soul in the music is actually going to be out, which means that true musicianship, people sitting down and practicing and working hard on their craft, is going to be thrown out of the window. Someone can get on a computer now and just type in whatever and create music. And what's going to happen to real people who want to sit down and just get married to their instruments, who want to get married to singing, who want to, you know. So I'm scared. I don't know where it is going to go, but I just hope that musicians around the world really, really understand, and people who are actually in the music business really understand that this might kill the art. This might kill the art. While
Yeah.
I'm open to technology and all of that, art cannot, true artistry, through true soul, true expression and impression, cannot be duplicated. It is something that has to come from the artist's soul and heart feeling. No computer can give you that. That's my answer.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. And
Hmm.
me personally, I don't think that anyone like you could ever be replaced. So I hope that we maintain the integrity in the music industry.
I
I'm
appreciate that
hopeful.
feedback too. I'm hopeful too. Let's see how the world turns out. Because the world, like,
I can
listen,
only
I'm
be
like,
hopeful.
right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, who are some artists or producers, in addition, that you would love to collaborate with next?
Usher, Chris Brown, besides Beyonce and True. Bruno Mars and Beyonce are like top people that always say Bruno Mars, Beyonce, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift. Now you ask me why are you calling all these people because they're big? No, because they are very unique. They have their sound. I watch their stage performances. There are a lot of artists who are actually good, but when they get on stage, they are not able to give that same feeling and actually bring that music to life. These people I've named do it. Chris Brown would bring his music to life. He loves to be on stage for hours to perform. That kind of feeling, I have it. I want to be on stage for 6 hours and I don't get tired. When I leave stage, now I get tired. Those kind of people, all sure. It's not just because they have or make great music, it's because they love the stage. And when I make music with these people, I want to see us perform the song together. You know what I'm saying? So mainstream artists, of course, you have in the African scene, you are talking about people like Burna Boy, you're talking about people like Isun or the legendary. Um, you know, you're talking about Angelique Kidjo. These are people that I would love to create music with. You know, Davido, create music with and perform it with them. You know, recently I've been a big fan of Lady Gaga because she's very eccentric
Lady
with the
Gaga?
way she. Hmm. Recently, I've been watching her performances because I'm huge on music performances, not just getting in the studio and creating stuff. I mean, AI does stuff now, so but it's okay. How do you perform the song live? What are the things you do? So I like the way she's really eccentric, the way she does it. And then she plays the guitar, plays the piano, sing, but she has this weird way of, doing her thing, and it's really very artistic. So and why? Because I watched her and Bruno Mars perform "Die with a Smile" on stage. I'm a huge fan of Bruno Mars, and I really got so intrigued. That's what I've seen her perform the song without Bruno Mars a few times, and I like how she's done it. It's just plain artistry. I love it. So recently, that's what I've been watching.
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan, and I think that when we talk about freedom and freedom of expression, she is someone who transcends in every area. So, shout out to Lady Gaga, and of course, Usher or Beyonce. If you happen to watch Queen's Vantage podcast, then we know that we're hopeful
Queen
for a
B,
feature for Demola.
Queen B, Queen
What,
B.
Demola? What excites you about this next chapter? We're coming into 2026, and I don't necessarily believe in resolutions, but I love next chapters. What
So
excites you about what's to
So
come?
so so this year, I'm gonna be sorry, I said this year. I'm already in 2026. So, so in 2026, I'm gonna be releasing more music, more albums. I'm gonna be releasing at least 3 albums next year. It's exciting for me to just release new music of me singing, of me playing the violin, of me playing other instruments. I'm really excited for my tour, going to new cities, going to the same cities I've gone to, scaling up, I'm going to different continents now. We're planning an Africa tour. Hopefully, becomes fruitful, and I'm planning a tour in Canada. And then I'm actually going back to Europe, to tour. And this time I want to expand. So I'm actually working on this, and these are very exciting. It's scary, for the business side, but it's really exciting for me from the artistic side. So these are things I'm looking forward to, pushing out more music,
Yeah.
reaching more of my fans in different parts of the world, Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to join or to follow your journey and support you along the way. Which brings me to my next question. You've got an incredible show coming up at Yoshi's, December
Mm-hmm.
5th and 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what the audience can expect.
Magic. That's all I tell people every time. Just come and experience magic on stage. By the time I'm done with the show, you're gonna be like, "Oh, you just performed for 10 minutes. We want more," which is how it happens every single time. And I'm done with the show. I don't think 75 or 80 minutes or 90 minutes is enough for me to perform. I want to be on the stage for 3 hours. But because we're gonna have two shows, night, 7:30 and 9:30. Just come from beginning of the show to the end of the show. It's all gonna be personable. It's gonna be magic. That's all I'm gonna say. Music from different parts of, different genres, all fused together. I'm gonna make sure that everybody feels, from your soul to R&B to pop to rock and roll to my originals to Afrobeats to piano. It's gonna be reggae, dancehall. We're gonna fuse everything in 75 minutes. Maybe push it a little bit more to 85 minutes, but we'll see. It's gonna be fun. Magic. That's all I can say.
Well, I'm excited. I get to be there to experience. So I hope all of you listening to Queen's Vantage podcast will also join us. Demola, are there any shout outs that you'd like to give today to anyone on your team, collaborators, creative partners who have helped you in these moments of life?
I've been shouting them out too much. I don't want to shout out nobody today.
I
Hey, the shout
completely
out
understand.
tonight.
Well,
I'm playing. I'm playing. The shout out is gonna be to you guys. And it's the promoters that made this happen. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone on your team for making this happen. Shout out to everyone behind the scene. You know, the guy on the camera, the guy on audio. You know, Kim. You know, um, and every single one that's made this possible. For my team and y'all's team. Big shout out to y'all.
absolutely. Yes, Demola, thank you so much. I'll also give an additional shout out. Thank you to KP Entertainment Connection for making this and happen. I'm a huge Demola fan, so this is an absolute honor to be able to sit down. And what I always like to say is just interview a person that is a man of meaning, but also someone that I truly appreciate as a person. So, Queen's Vantage podcast and all of our listeners, Royals, Demola will be performing at Yoshi's on December 5th and 6th. I hope that you guys are all in the building. It's out in Oakland. And if you have not experienced Demola, then this is the time to do it. He's back in the Bay Area. Again, a huge shout out to KP Entertainment Connection and all of our Royals listening. Demola, it's been an absolute honor to have you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for
That
having
has been
me.
another episode of Queen's Vantage podcast. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. This episode will be dropping before Demola's performance, so we hope to see you all there. I love you, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, bye.
Demola, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry about the technology, but it's an absolute honor, and I look forward to meeting you.
All right, look here. Look here. Look here.
I'll see you. Bye.
Bye.